Tonight, it's all about being a fan of the sport, a fan of winter, a fan of snow. And like every other sports fan, fans, we love stadiums. When you enter into a stadium, your senses are saturated with cheering fans, the smell of food, and the setting. Ski stadiums are extra special because of the natural landscape and the beauty of mountains. The finish of a ski race, the stadium of a Nordic ski championship. When you walk to these locations, you're instantly struck by the grandeur of the place. And then you hear it. The booming voice of the announcer. And you know, this is my place. This is my sport. These are my heroes here today. And that iconic voice welcomes you, educates you, motivates you, and inspires you. It's the magic sauce to the entire event. Baseball has Vince Scully. Monday Night Football has the likes of Howard Cosell. In basketball, you think of Dick Stockton. And in winter, year in and year out, Peter Graves have been the sport of the Olympics, World Championships, FIS races in multiple sports around the world. His dedication to the tidbits and factoids of the athletes brings everything to life. He builds suspense. He builds drama. When I hear his voice, I instantly stand to my feet and focus in on the moment and think of what could happen today in front of my eyes. When you hear Peter's voice, you get the aha moment. He's made me cheer for the underdog, the champion, and shed a tear for the agony of defeat. Let's learn about the man who has commentated and called on some of the greatest moments of our sport, Peter Graves.
As the voice of skiing, Peter Graves has delivered insight, drama, and color on the world's biggest stages since 1977. Through more than 4 decades and hundreds of Olympic, World Cup, and World Championship events, Graves' inimitable voice has become synonymous with the sport.
The Olympic Games were held in Asia, 1972.
From calling the closest cross-country ski race in Olympic history at the 1980 Olympics on ABC, to serving as the stadium announcer at the dramatic post-9/11 opening ceremony at the Salt Lake City Olympics, Graves has provided the soundtrack for many of the biggest moments in sport, including 9 Olympics.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Peter Graves. Happy to be with you. And with us
I
today
loved every moment of it, he says. Besides his grounding as a TV sportscaster and stadium announcer for a wide range of sports, Graves also served as a U.S. cross-country ski team coach and led the Harvard Nordic ski team from 2002 to 2008. He also owned and managed a cross-country ski travel company, directed cross-country events for Special Olympics, and served as the Nordic editor for ski racing and ski tracks. Born in 1952 at Bennington, Vermont, Graves earned a spot on the Eastern Junior National Nordic team. He attended Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado, where he competed for 4 years on the cross-country squad. Graves planned to work his way up into a mainstream media market, but instead returned to his first love, skiing. Graves' stadium career began in 1977 when he called the internationally acclaimed American Birkebeiner cross-country ski race at Telemark in northern Wisconsin, a post he held for several decades. Graves covered the 1984 and 1988 Olympics for ESPN's SportsCenter and was the primary television announcer for the U.S. ski team from 1986 to 1990. Segueing into stadium announcing, Graves learned to build a rapport with on-site fans and had a strategy for covering a lengthy list of competitors. He diligently follows a pre-race routine, plenty of Ricola and water, humming the scales for a vocal warm-up, and meditating on the goals for the day. Anyone who's attended World Cups in Vail, Beaver Creek, Aspen, or Killington has heard his voice, and the same goes for various venues at the 2002, 2010, 2014, and 2018 Olympic Winter Games. Outside of skiing, Graves has been active in a wide range of sports and has called thousands of events in total. Today he lives in East Thetford, Vermont, just above Hanover, New Hampshire. He has 2 children, Willie, who competed on the U.S. Nordic Combined Team, and Katie, who raced for the Putney School, and 1 grandchild. For spending 4 decades dramatically chronicling many of the biggest moments in the sport, Peter Graves earns induction into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Peter Graves, having been elected by representation of the 15 million skiers and snowboarders in America, we hereby bestow upon you this night in Big Sky, Montana, our country's highest snow sport award, the Medal of Honor, and confer upon you from this day forward, Friday, March 24th, 2023, induction into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, where, sir, your accomplishments will forever be remembered.
Good evening, and thank you, ski friends. It's indeed an honor to be here tonight. I sport a new look a little bit. In the last couple of years, neuropathy has set in my feet. So while I've hung up the skis, I haven't hung up the cane. And my mind is clear, and my spirit and heart still soar with ski racing and the world of sport and with all of you. So I'm going to set this down. What a night. Thank you. I'm, of course, like all of inductees here, deeply humbled by this award. I only wish my parents were alive to witness this moment. This is not intended as false modesty, but I never dreamed that the day would occur, nor did I ever ponder it, that I would be up here talking to you and receiving this award. And particularly to my fellow inductees who blow me away with their vast array of talents. I really congratulate you so much, and I'm proud to be with you. Thank you for the honor, and this is going to be a common theme tonight, but it could not be achieved, any of it, without the loving support of my family, my children, Willie, who was a member of the U.S. Nordic Combined Team with me, my daughter Kate. No one can achieve this alone. I wanted to thank especially a few individuals for their rock-solid support. Some of their names you will know, some perhaps not, for their inspiration. For my longest friend, Robin Outwater, who grew down the street with me in Bennington, Vermont, and our mothers pushed each other together in strollers. I thank you so much for Rob for being my closest friend, trusted advisor, always being there for me. And without you, Robin, as I was chasing you around Prospect Mountain in Woodford, Vermont, I never would have been the skier that I was. You made me better. And I thank you for that, Robin, so very, very much. My longtime friend and trusted advisor, Tom Kelly, for his friendship and mentorship, for his advice to always help me stay current in things like technology. I'm more used to 2 cans and a string. And I came rather kicking into the computer age. Tom helped me stay current. He was a loyal friend, and I thank you, Tom. For both Robin and Tom and my children, I say to you in the words of a wise poet, I am not who I was. I am not going to be who I was going to be. You changed all that, and I love you all for it. I stand here tonight before you. I sometimes have to ask myself, and it's been a particular theme the last couple weeks, I've become kind of weepy about this. Kind of surprising to me. I don't always cry that easily. But the profound nature of this has been really, really powerful. As I stand here before you tonight, I wonder how a kid from small town Vermont who began skiing on a rope tow at Prospect Mountain in Woodford, how he developed this passion and love of cross-country skiing and later television that changed the path of my life. I had some inspirational coaches, Bucky Broomhall, Berger Vigsness, and in college at Fort Lewis in Durango, the legendary Dolph Koos, whose son is doing very well in the Tour de France, incidentally, as well. I had the mentorship of Charlie Al Merrill at Dartmouth, who was all the mentor anybody could ever ask for. Al taught me how to ski, how to race, and the value of sportsmanship. To John Caldwell, JC, from Putney, Vermont, who was a mentor in all manner of things, who kindly let this little red-haired kid train with the U.S. cross-country ski team when they were in Vermont, let me take saunas with a group which were heavenly, and was an all-around mentor and a dear friend. Marty Hall, some of you know him, gave me an unbelievable amount of encouragement when I could provide none for myself. Marty kept my spirits high over the years, and I needed that because, quite candidly, I was never blessed, I don't think, with an overabundance of confidence. I'd be remiss not to mention Paul Robbins, who left us far too soon. A teacher of journalism, a former UPI bureau chief, a dear friend that I miss every day, and often when I get into a jam in this business, I ask myself, what would Paul do? To Gary Black, who helped inspire my journalistic chops, but also showing us how much we should enjoy this sport. For many of us, he gave us a singular message about the joys of sport, and I miss those times together. Similarly, I want to thank my friend who is in the room tonight, Joe J. Jalbert, for all the years of doing television together and for teaching the ropes and helped me learn more about sports television. Some of you remember the Irishman from Rutland, Vermont, Mike Gallagher, for teaching me all he knew about cross-country skiing, and freely so, and for teaching me about Irish songs and hot saunas and cold Vermont ponds. Others, too, like Rick LaCivita, an Emmy Award-winning producer, for teaching me as I got into the sport that the stories we tell on television are really all about sitting around the campfire. I had the opportunity to work with Tony Wise at Telemark Lodge, the founder of the Birkebeiner, and the very first World Cup race we had in cross-country skiing. And that was a great experience. And to people like Bob Beatty and my friend Greg Lewis that I see here, they were brilliant ski racing announcers. And long ago, in a little dark TV room in Bennington, Vermont with my dad, especially on ABC Sports, these were people that took not only you and me, not only to the Hahnenkamm, but to the pastry shops of Innsbruck, to the culture of the sport, to the heart of the sport. And I thank you for that so much. And the teaching, yeah. And the teaching you did me at Copper Peak and ski jumping was always a pleasure. It was, in fact, a brilliant kind of long-form storytelling that these people engaged in that were my inspirations. Something that is dangerously lacking, in my opinion, from sports television now. TV has so much power to educate, to inspire people, and to see people dream big dreams because they saw it on the tube. I hope, and it would be one of my great wishes, that doing the work that I love to help inspire young people to dream big dreams. These people and others too taught me the valuable lessons of not giving up when the wax was bad or it was too cold. They taught me how to give my best effort with the best in sportsmanship. My coaches and mentors were old school, baby. And they taught me the value of no whining. And as the late, great John Wooden said, happiness begins where selfishness ends. Wise advice. My journey included some very special moments in sports television, like calling the closest cross-country race in the history of the sport. Lake Placid, 1980. I was with Bill Fleming. The 15K, Thomas Vosberg from Sweden against the giant Johan Mieto. Amazing race on ABC, separated by the blink of an eye, 1/100th of a second. And after that, the FIS said, that's simply too close. That's the blink of an eye. We'll now time to the 10th of a second. I was the PA announcer at opening and closing ceremonies at Salt Lake City. An opportunity and an honor despite my fear of making a mistake. Came through just fine. Let's see. Is it Bosnia or Bosnia-Herzegovina? You can't make a mistake there. You're live to the world. And I conquered a fear that was pretty powerful. I've witnessed many races around the world. Bodie Miller, who was here tonight, Darren Rawls, who at Beaver Creek simply defied gravity and physics, and who were among the greats. And I got to call a lot of those races over the last 30 years with my longtime friend and PA announcer, Doug Lewis. Other events like calling Michaela at Sochi, her gold medal, so young, the youngest slalom winner in history. And really, those are just the top of the iceberg. I enjoyed the years I had when I coached the U.S. ski team, worked for USSA, coached the Harvard Nordic team, and later Special Olympics. I am the only child of two wonderful parents, Van and Ella Graves. They gave me the gift of growing up on skis. And more importantly, besides seconds and tenths of seconds, I saw the joys of fresh snow and the beauty of trees draped in white, and they are moments now that I treasure more than ever. They started a fire in me that lasts to this day. My father was a country lawyer, but who was rather forced into law by his state's attorney, Father Collins. It was not my father's first choice of a profession, And as I came of age, the thing I remember so most of all was do what you love. And he did everything to support that. And it has turned out pretty well. And I admire both of my parents for that. I found in a simple pair of wooden skis and with John Caldwell's seminal read, which is now dog-eared and barely readable, the cross-country ski book, which I read countless times. It was in skiing I took refuge. It brought me tremendous satisfaction and friendships. And I was thinking that this journey, as all of you know, is never really linear. And time's not easy, especially in the competitive world of sports television. I love the sport as you do. And when once told by a producer that I needed to be tougher and more critical of the American skiers, I simply replied, maybe I'm not your guy. And it turned out, just a few weeks later, I wasn't. It actually surprised me that I dared to utter those words. But in my work, I tried to honor the athletes, give them the benefit of the doubt, and that includes not only the U.S. or Canada, but all nations. At 70, and now closer to the end than the beginning, I now realize the choices I made shaped me. I leave you with one of my favorite poets, of course, the Vermonter Robert Frost, who penned many years ago what I chose, my path in life and the road less taken, and that has made the difference for me. And so thusly here it is. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and being one traveler long I stood. I looked down on as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Who are we going to be? We are going to be whom we never thought we would be without each other. My announcing career, now 50 years young, has brought me to 13 Olympic Games now, something I truly never imagined. But I could never have been here without the support, the encouragement that I received from others. They helped me be understood. They helped support my message of joy in ski competition and to trying to use my voice to help the sport grow and to honor the great performances of athletes and coaches around the world. And most of all, they gave me acceptance and, yes, love. Tell people you love them tonight. To all the people like me who grew up in the small mountain towns and dared to dream that you can be and do whatever your heart desires, even end up in this Hall of Fame. Thank you very much. God bless you. I love you all. Thank you.